Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill just barely clears the Senate, with Vice President Vance casting the tie-breaking vote. Now the massive tax and spending package heads back to the House, where GOP leaders are racing to meet the president's Friday deadline. But the Senate version of the measure is facing some resistance. CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns joins us now from Capitol Hill. Caitlin, good morning. So how are House Republicans reacting to the passage of the Senate's bill?
Hey, Michael, great to see you. Well, some House Republicans are trying to rain on the Senate's parade after passing that bill out of the Senate yesterday. Remember how much of a marathon that was. There are some House Republicans who are upset about what the Senate did to this bill. You have a few who think that the spending didn't cut far enough, and then you also have a few who are very concerned about the way in which this adds to the deficit. To put that into context, the House version of the bill, the Congressional Budget Office, that nonpartisan kind of scorer of these kinds of pieces of legislation, they found that in the House bill, it would cost about $2 trillion to the deficit. The Senate version adds about $3 trillion to the deficit, according to those estimates. So there's a big gap there. Basically, the House Speaker, though, wants to get this done by that 4th of July deadline that the president set. He is going to start these votes today, this morning. Lawmakers have been called back to Washington, as you reported, some of them facing some travel troubles with the weather going on. But they are hoping to start this process at 9 o'clock this morning, voting on the rule, getting through the procedural motions, and having a final vote as early as today.
Now, Caitlin, this bill would have a huge impact on millions of Americans, especially when it comes to Medicaid. Remind us what's in this bill.
That's right. Remember, there's about $4.5 trillion in tax cuts. That's extending the Trump tax cuts, adding new incentives as well. But that money has to come from somewhere. So there are spending cuts as well. And the bulk of the cuts are focused on some health care programs, especially Medicaid. Over the next 2 years, it's estimated that this will cut about $1 trillion from the program. Basically, what it does is it creates new work requirements for those who qualify, while also changing the way that the federal government contributes to state and local governments when it comes to Medicaid. So states might have to fill the gaps here. Michael, I can tell you I spent some time recently in West Virginia at a nursing home facility. And when you think of nursing homes, you likely think of Medicare, which is health coverage for the elderly. But the vast majority of nursing home residents are actually on Medicaid, which is health care coverage for low-income earners. And that is going to have likely, according to people that I talked to that are running these nursing homes, have an effect on their ability to operate, because it helps pay into the system, paying things like facilities, paying nurses, all the things kind of involved in care. Big, massive cuts to the program are going to put the burden on the states, and a lot of them can't really make up that gap.
All right, a lot at stake here. Caitlin Huey-Burns, thanks for joining us.